Hello and welcome to a special edition of Asylum Atelier. I'm here live from St. Petersburg. I'm trying to make sure that we have a stable internet connection. It's not as easy as you might think. Also because I'm in a very, very old historical building. It has like a really thick walls. And even though I'm very close to the window, it's blocking enormous amount of signal. I'm trying to find different ways how to overcome this issue. Since I'm a international student here, not everything goes as smooth as I would like to. It's not as easy just to walk in and just say, "Oh, can I get the internet?" Yeah, of course. It's not working that way here, unfortunately. And I think it's in every country that way. When you are a foreigner, you have like a certain rules that you have to follow. Anyway, I'm here for now. I'm going to be streaming as much as I can. This is going to be mostly giving you a little bit more of that feel, what it is to work in the academy. I am trying to finish, or I started yesterday. This is day 3. Or 2 days ago with this project. This is going to be my diploma painting. I'm working on the same topic, which is Cyril and Methodius. It's a very famous, it's not a story, it's a historical event. These two guys brought something that I would call maybe a foundation for a language that we not necessarily use till today, but it was really that kind of a founding, or actually not founding. It was kind of a foundation for the language that we use in Slovakia today. I was working on a slightly different project. I was working on a slightly different compositional setup, I would say, in my studio in Slovakia. Unfortunately, for lack of time and all the complications with transporting and moving a painting here, it would be not necessarily unachievable task, but after a consultation with the staff here, my master, we decided that I'll do a different iteration of the same topic. I have multiple sketches. You might have seen them if you check the previous streams or the videos on YouTube. I have been talking about this specific sketch multiple times, and I'm referencing back and forth. I used to reference these back and forth before, so it's not something that I wouldn't be familiar with. It's just something a little different. You can also see that I have my canvas slightly larger, only because it was prepared for a slightly different painting. It's not a problem. It's always better for me, especially if things are bigger. My canvas is bigger because then I can do some last minute adjustments with the width when the composition asks for it. So that's that. Another important thing is that this is a shared studio. Right now I came a little bit earlier, so I'm here alone. It's a Saturday, so I can actually be loud and expressive, but as soon as the other students get here, I'm just going to get a little bit more quiet, and I'll be more on the chat answering the questions. But the routine is the same. I'm working, you guys are working alongside me, which is awesome, and we're continuing our creative discourse, right? I also want to bring you more of that, more about this academy, because this building is just massive. There's so many things to explore here. We have our own let's just get here. Okay, so someone just got here, some of the other students, but they're in the studio all the way far back, so I can still continue be expressive. And the problem is not that there will be a problem with this. I just want to be respectful towards the other students, and actually they are not students here with me. Oh, there's someone on the motorcycle. These are not the students. These are actually working professionals. This is something that they call like a creative ateliers for the students that already graduated there with the diploma. So they're actually working here. They have a different commissions. They have a patrons. They are helping with the other students, and it's just it's a nice thing to experience. It's for a very selected few, the best of the best, the crop of the crop, right? And I'm here only because there was no other way, no other space for me to be. So I'm actually occupying a private space of my master. He was generous enough to share or lend me this space. So it's going to be also difficult from this point of view, or from this angle rather, for us, because whenever he enters, I have to shut down everything because he wants to have his privacy, of course. He doesn't want to be recorded. He doesn't want to be on the stream. He's fairly old, so he has his preferences. He's old school, so I'm going to be respectful towards that because I respect him enormously for his achievements. So I also want to bring you more from the academy, because we have, like you said, our own museum here, our own museum with sculptures that we can draw from. We have beautiful architecture inside. We have studios where and I have my goosebump situation. There is a studio where I actually study, which was a studio of Ilya Repin, very, very famous painter. Is actually, this school is named after him these days. So we have our own private church here. We have our own private courtyard here that we can enter. There are parks on the left side. There are parks behind the school. There are parks on the right side of the building. It's just so many things to explore here in this, because this used to be a huge complex. And I'm going to post a couple more pictures step by step on the Discord whenever I will have a chance to do, because there is a lot of things that I have to draw and paint. So it's just going to be a straight on working. I'll try to record as much as I can, and I'll try to actually post as much as and stream as much as possible, because I really have to work. Like I said, unfortunately, we can actually keep the camera on while the other professionals are working, or my colleagues, but I'll be respectful, and I don't want to distract them with the conversation that I'm having with you. So I'm just going to be present on the chat a little bit more. But this is about the painting, so you don't really need to actually hear the much while you're painting alongside me. All right, that's a really quick kind of a introduction to what we're going to do. I'm still a little sick because the whole week I was trying to get from the bed because I had a headache, I was dizzy, I was nauseous. It was just I don't know. It was probably the combination of stress and expectations and all that kind of like a jitters that you have in your stomach and throughout your body. Plus, I was on the road more than what was it? Almost 48 hours. So I was really tired, and when I came here, it was snowing. It was really, really cold. Right now is beautiful weather. You can walk out and hang out with a t-shirt. So it was just an abrupt change of the temperatures. So I really got into the kind of a I don't know, like being sick out of a stress and just exhaustion, probably, right? So, but I'm getting better right now. But I'm still, you can hear that I'm nasally. It's just gonna even more nasally than usual, and excuse me, and I still have a cough, so you can hear me coughing time to time. So I apologize for that in advance. That being said, there's hopefully it's not going to be as much these days. This is, like I said, day 3, and I'm just going to try to day them, or actually make them or separate them by days. You can see that I switched a little bit, or it skipped a couple steps only because there was a master here, and I was working alongside with the master, so I didn't want to disturb him with the camera. Like I said, that's why it might happen that there's going to be like a quick abrupt off of a stream because I can't really perfectly schedule it. I'll try to come early morning around 8 and start painting and start working from 8, because we are approaching here in St. Petersburg the time that we call white night. It means that, or bright nights rather, that would be a better translation. It means that there's sun is not going to disappear. It's going to be day throughout the night as well. It's a really strange feeling, trust me, but it's kind of also good for me because I can work from a natural light all day, all night. So it's a perfect condition for a painter. It has its drawback because during the winter there's night whole day, and we see sun maybe for a couple hours. And it's also I remember it was just a little bit. All right, so let's get into this. I put a little bit of a cover right here because as I was working with charcoal, it's just got really dusty and dirty, and I don't want to sweep and mop this all the time. So I have like a little cover here. This is not ideal. I don't have my excuse me, preferable carpet here. But trust me, I couldn't really pack my carpet with me anymore. That would be too much. That would be too much. I still working on the setting up the composition. So that's something that is going to take me maybe till the end of the week, maybe even longer. I don't know. Let's see. I need to create something here for something like a little improvised stand or something like that. Let me see. This might work. Not necessarily ideal, but this is what we do. This is my ghetto setup. So I can use my my iPad as a reference for what I draw. This is probably the worst thing to do, but it has to. We have to manage. All right, so I'm going to continue working with a charcoal. This is a very soft charcoal. I would call it like super soft. It's you don't really have to even erase it. It's really so so soft that you can actually blow it away with um, uh, right away, or even when you can see how it just slowly, you can already see that it's smearing. So I'm mostly using a paper towel, and this is all for laying down the sketch, laying down that um, um, proportions, and searching and finding what's happening, because it's easier for me to adjust it this way. Plus, since this is a diploma painting, I also have to show a process, and my master wants to see the process, not necessarily because it's absolutely necessary. It's just I haven't been here for a while, and they just want to make sure that everything is up to that standard that they're trying to keep right here. So you guys are working with me, awesome. You got this. I hope I will. I'll do everything that is possible to make a nice painting, on really good painting. I've been waiting for this for so long that I'm super excited, and I hope that you guys are going to enjoy this. I don't think that you will, for a foreseeable future, see anything like this, because this is for me one-time opportunity to do something like this, and I have never seen anybody to actually stream directly from the academy. So we are we are the first here together. So I'm really excited about this, and you can see that I'm still working on that composition, even though that that I already have a sketch. But there are some things that I want to make a little better. So perhaps this arm could go a little bit more this way, and perhaps there will be a better position for that a pole right here compositionally. And right now I feel that the figures are a little too symmetrical and a little too you see that again, the same rhythm. So it just goes like this, right? It's not really what I want, and there's multiple ways how to deal with it. I haven't decided which one or which approach I'm going to go for. I have figures right here. These are pretty good. I'm kind of satisfied with these rhythms right here. I will have another figure right here. And there's one more figure that I want to come out from behind this figure right here. So these are all just the preliminary sketches, and I'm calling this preliminary sketches because everything is movable, right? Everything has its own how would I put this? Like there is a little bit more. I just want to show that horizon, because they're kind of coming from behind the hill, and they're just walking on top of the hill. There's going to be a little bit of grass right here to create that little bit more of the interest, and there's going to be a really important part for me to actually hit it really hard with the beautiful environment, because this painting, even though there's the figures there, the sky right now actually works as a composition, or it's a main compositional thing, and you can see with this size, I am not necessarily, I'm using a flat side of my, you can see it right here a little better. Let me just move this right here. So you can see that I have, like, this is like a charcoal stick, or that wine charcoal stick, but I'm using it flat like this, right? So I'm trying to cover as much space as possible. And the reason is because, remember I talked about that, how much I like to paint, and I'm using these materials as I would work with the brush. And you can see these brush strokes. This is what I do with brushes, because that's how naturally my hands, it's just kind of developed the way around with the things. I focused myself a little bit more here while I was working on that, because as I was discussing this with my master, we kind of he wanted to see where am I going to place the figures and how they're going to look first, because that's a part of the assignment. I have to have the figures in my diploma painting. That's part of the deal, and they don't look necessarily. How would I put this? I'm not satisfied with the way how it works. And also with the paper towel, you can see that with the paper towel, I do the same thing. I use it as a brush. I want to see these beautiful marks there because they help the composition. I need a little bit more action in the background right now because that's what's gonna drive the composition a little bit more. Maybe even this way. So, and you can see right now I don't have an eraser. I'm just going to use a paper towel and just wipe these areas a little bit here, so I can see perhaps this would be a better position overall for that walking stick. And I'm making it the crest slightly smaller. I think that is a little bit more appropriate for this painting, and it's because I don't want it to occupy that much space, right? Because it could overpower then the heads that I have right here. So that's something that I really need to, really need to be careful about. And then you remember I talked about a lot when it comes to that kind of a feeling of figures moving. I don't feel that the figure is moving right now, so I would have to focus a little bit more on this, the leg and the placement of the foot. And maybe I could push it a little bit more. Yeah, it's going a little too far out. And I'm always trying to keep it, more in that. There's a very simple rule that I follow, and that's that I'm trying to keep it in where the pit of the neck is, the center part, where the clavicles touch, and I'm trying to put my foot somewhere underneath that. So maybe I can push it even right here, all the way there, because that's what's giving us that. We talked about the balance. So, you see, like maybe even more forward to show that he's in that kind of a direction forward. I think that might be actually beneficial. Let's try that. So I'll push the foot all the way here, right? And you know how much I like to move things around. So let's immediately go for that. Let's not waste any time with a... and right now when I have that much of a charcoal already there, I'm going to use eraser right now. And again, I cut my eraser. This is what I do with eraser. I don't think we talked about this that much. I used to buy a eraser, and then I didn't know what to do with it. So right now I'm buying this big like this, and then I cut the shape that I need, right? So I can have a flat. I can then have a really sharp edge for lines, and I'm again using it as a brush. Right? So instead of being precise, I'm thinking about, I need a white or light or bright brush stroke. So instead of actually drawing something there, I'm kind of placing these light brush strokes where I think that they could actually be a land by actually erasing it, right? So that's kind of that's what happens to you when you paint a lot and you don't draw that often. Or, excuse me, when you switch from just drawing outlines into actually consciously painting with charcoal or with pencil or with an eraser in this particular case. And even though in my sketch I don't have their feet, exposed, I want to expose them here because I feel like as we talked about that, a foot is just showing that this might be a little too much pushed to that direction. A foot, and it looks like way too big right now. That's okay. Perhaps I need to move it this way, a little bit more this way, like so. I'm sorry, because I don't have that much space to move back, and I want to see it. No, I think this is right. So it could be there, but then maybe if I just go a little bit more in the angle this way. So the crest is going to be slightly, yeah, I think that's going to be better. And maybe even if I push it a little bit more here, I'm just thinking out loud. Excuse me. Foot right here, maybe towards us a little bit more, and then up, and then top. This is that arch. Could be a perhaps this way. Yeah, this might work. And then we can push this, the back one. And then maybe push it right here. The other foot. Right, so he has that kind of a momentum, right? So he's just moving forward. He's the first one to enter that or go to that unknown. And this is something that I, I don't want to say to keep remembering from when I was working on that before, but this is more about, applying again things that we kind of discuss with the previous sketch, that the idea I want to, apply these things. So he was going to be here, and maybe, and this is me again going crazy. Maybe we can have his arm right here, all the way here, right? So he's like visibly a front, like he's that pushing force. That might look cool, I think. And because, I'm still thinking about this composition. That's never-ending story. It's always evolving, right? And that's the beauty of working with a medium like oil, or the charcoal for this. Yeah, I think this might be better. And then I could push this a little bit more this way. Right? So let's give him a little bit more of that. Kind of a rhythm, and I'm being very, very free with this, because why not? Nothing is set in stone here yet. Right? So I want to create that kind of a and I want to create a connection between them, right? And that's going to be difficult. Um, Maybe this would be, oh yeah, the rhythm. I want to make it a little bit more active. So then I could actually push a little bit more this way, and this is where his rib cage is, right? And this is where the leg is. Yeah, I think this might be. Yeah, let's try this. I think this is going. This is it. But you know me. Today I like it. Tomorrow I might not. Um, but we don't have that much time to go to think about tomorrows, right? So it's gonna be fun. My God, I'm starting to, thinking maybe what if I put it right here, like so, a little bit more diagonal. I mean that, and he's holding it here, or maybe here. Hmm. I was thinking that I'm just gonna get into studio and start, painting from the sketch, but let's see that. Let's do it. Let's do it. I don't care. Let's do it. Let's do it. Hmm. Do I have a? Because you remember, I just there is a still repeating theme with them being not only connected by a simple fact that they are two figures, but also I want them to be touched because they're helping each other, right? And that's what usually is like in one figure in the previous in the previous sketch they were holding like this, so one it's holding or pushing, maybe even depends on your a preference, your own story that you have there. And right now here I maybe I want to that feeling of that they're again touching, that oh, we are here finally, we arrived. It was really really difficult, but we're here. So there's so many different things that um, that resonates with me. That's the word that I'm looking for. Um, I don't think I have a reference here for that particular. For that sort of a. Let's see. Because I have to go really, really deep into my sketches and ideas and reference photos and the anatomy. Because this has been a long, long journey for me, especially. And we are in the final stages, which is kind of a really nice bittersweet feeling. Okay, this one is. No, it's not what I'm looking for. Let's do it. Yes, I love the attitude. That's okay. That's great. That's great. I'm really happy that you like the attitude. I'm excited. I'm really, really excited to be here, truth to be told. It's just that, yeah, maybe if I rotate him a little bit more towards us, right? And then do like not that it's spread like this, but more like this, like it has that foreshortening. I really like foreshortenings. And maybe if I put him a little lower, so he's still behind that little hill, that might be, we're onto something here. We are onto something. You can see that even, like I said, even in this very situation when I have to just paint, I can't stop composing. That's something that makes me excited. That gives me a pleasure, actually. So, in my original sketch, I have a couple of these ideas. I had actually. So I would have this arm right here going forward. and then maybe back, holding it this way, maybe holding it here, like so, even perhaps. Yeah. Which would give me a little bit more. I would show the elbow right here, maybe, and I would show that opening of this right here, and then like that double cross, that it's kind of their symbol, could go kind of behind him, the same way that I had, so I can keep something from from the original sketch. It would kind of nicely maybe tie it together, maybe, I don't know. And then he's holding it here with his hand, up right here, and his hand is going down, like so. It's a little too much, right? So maybe it would be holding it here, and his hand is right there. And maybe I'll push it even closer. Right, so this is where we do. And maybe not even that much high, so it will just be here. But then there's going to be empty space up there. Let's try to push this guy a little bit closer, maybe here, and a little lower. And a little lower. Maybe even a little. I can always get back to this when I'm just looking for it. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, immediately. Immediately better. Immediately better. Okay, that will give us a little bit more of that. You see, like the action of the composition, like how a little bit more kind of connected they are, because there was again that for me, I'm talking about this all the time, that kind of a same repetition, and I don't really like that repetition so much, which would give me an option to actually put him closer, and then his hand could be here and his shoulder this way, and it's going back and up, like so. That's going to be extremely, extremely difficult too. Because that wouldn't be even, I don't think it would be possible. He would have to be, well, maybe. But then I need something really strong to balance it out right here. So perhaps this is going to be slightly bigger than fourth that I was playing, right? So there's going to be more of the land right here, like so. So I have something, because right now they're leaning too much that way. Yeah. But it would be cool if I could maybe show, like his one foot is right here. Right now he looks like a bird a little bit. It's pretty funny. Like he's already on that hill. Excuse me. Okay, right now the problem is with the with this because I need to have a little bit more of that. A little bit darker value there, because again, composition, right? Number one, and this maybe should go a little lower than the darkness here. Right, so I have that diagonal, and this is going to be the sky right here around them. Okay, let me push a little bit these figures right now. So this is going to be the rhythm right here, because that's his. Stream ended. Oh man, really? What happened? Ah, this is ridiculous.